Tiger fans, Greenville is a wonderful place to call home, and take it from me, a great place to grow your family. The housing market can be an extremely competitive and intimidating place if you don't have the right agent. That's why we recommend our friend and local agent Lana Smith with Live Upstate SC Real Estate. She is a native of Greenville and has been serving the needs of families in the upstate for over 20 years. You need an agent proficient in navigating the world of multiple offers who will put your needs first and guide you through the process. Let Lana help you achieve your real estate goals. Call her today at 864-608-8313. Again, that's 864-608-8313. And let's get moving. If you're looking for a great atmosphere and good food, you have to check out the Charleston Sports Pub. They're the premier sports bar location in South Carolina with locations in Clemson, Greenville, Goose Creek, James Island, Mount Pleasant, Summerville, and West Ashley. Watch all the games while you have fun playing all their games. Tiger fans, we dine there, legends dine there like Taj Boyd, and so should you. Go eat at the Charleston Sports Pub in Clemson every game day. 359 College Avenue, Clemson. Family owned and operated, serving Anderson County and surrounding areas since 1980. Heating and Cooling Services Inc. is your residential and commercial comfort expert. Anything from preventative maintenance of your home HVAC system to overhauling a commercial chiller and everything in between. If you want to breathe easier and be nice and cool in your home or business this summer or warm this winter, give Heating and Cooling Services Inc. a call today. Give Mark or Jason Trammell a call at 864-224-7655. Again, 864-224-7655, and they'll take good care of you. Tiger fans, we don't just dress for success, we TS for success. That's Tiger Sports Shop. We shop there so much that they practically begged us to be sponsors for them. Not serious, but we do love shopping at Tiger Sports Shop in one of their two locations, 364 College Avenue and 1102 Tiger Boulevard in Clemson. If you're not in Clemson to check out the experience, stop by online at www.tigersports.com. Again, tigersports.com for all your game day needs. What's up, everyone? It's the Morgan Thomas Show. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Thomas, and we're excited to have you back in for another week of the show. I see Bill already gets in, says he's glad to see us on live 2 weeks in a row. He's very impressed. I'm glad you're impressed, Bill. Anything I can do to impress you, I'm here for it, and I will repeat it for sure. We see a lot of people already getting in. I'll give everybody a shout out. We'll let you know, too, that normally we have 3 hosts. Right now, this time tonight, we only have 2 hosts because Big Alan Adams is tearing it up on the hardwoods, playing some church basketball tonight. So we wish him luck, and we hope that he stays healthy and doesn't do something like me, like tear his ACL. So, not wishing any bad luck on him. Let's knock on wood for that. I'm sorry I even said that. Let's go ahead and bring in my co-host and good friend, Mr. Houston Burnett. Welcome in.
I mean, Al's out tonight. You gotta of course you would mention tearing an ACL or something like that. We don't want. You should have just been like, good luck, ball out, win this league that you're in. I don't know. Is you know more about Al than I do as far as basketball. Is he a chucker?
Oh, Allen is a white Tracy McGrady. I mean, he is good. He is good. He's good. He might. I wouldn't say Kobe Bryant. So I would say Tracy McGrady for sure. He's literally the one reason why our teams won. So I mean, you're gonna guarantee from Al at least 2 dunks, a few 3-pointers, and he's gonna leave with a triple double, maybe a double double, pretty much every night. Big Al is a baller, that's for sure. I'm not even exaggerating when I say these things. I know you guys think I'm exaggerating here, but I am not.
No, I mean, this is coming from a guy who I prided myself on being like the hustle guy. I was the Tyler Hansborough, the poor man's Tyler Hansborough of the team. I was overvalued and not very good.
I was the guy that, just let him bring the ball down the court, but just pray to God he does not turn it over because, I was dribbling way too much. I had a habit of, over dribbling all the time.
No, okay. I hear you. Okay.
If you down low, me bringing it up at the point, Allen shooting the threes and dunking. I mean, I think we got a winning team right now, even without 5.
You get Qualk out there with us, man. We could take on anybody, man. We could take on anybody.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I mean, let's see how we can get it together. Let's get in. Let's jump in and say hello to some people. Like I said, we're gonna have a relaxed night. We hope you have some fun tonight, and we're gonna be talking about the Clemson spring game because that's the big things coming up this weekend. Other than the Australian Grand Prix and Formula One, which hopefully we will also talk about, and maybe even some SmackDown post WrestleMania SmackDown and post WrestleMania,
or
AEW.
The Masters.
I also watched some of the Masters today, yes, and but I don't call it the Masters. It is basically the next 3 days of Tiger Woods coverage. That's basically what it is. It's not the Masters. It's tigerwoods.com. I mean, it is literally livewoods.com. I mean, it is the Tiger Woods show, like the Morgan Thomas show.
I'll admit with the Masters, I know I'm not the biggest Tiger Woods fan out there, but even a Tiger Woods hater, you gotta admit, coming back from what he did with this car crash to get where he's at, he's in 9th right now in the clubhouse round 1. I don't think he's gonna be able to keep it up. I don't think he's gonna win, but I'm even impressed with this, given his age and what he dealt with in the last one. So, and then on top of that, before we move on,
and I'm not a hater of Tiger Woods.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm indifferent. I don't go gaga over him, but at the same time, it is impressive to see what he's done in the last few years.
I mean, he's definitely changed over the years. A lot of things have gone on in his life off the course that we can just write a whole book about. But I mean, he does look good in some Nike, and maybe some FootJoy, as I'm hearing too. He's wearing FootJoy because he's getting old. He's like me, bad knees, bad leg, bad back, everything. But anyways, Bill again gets in, says 2 weeks in a row we are impressed. Kevron Harris says hi Morgan Thomas, hi Big Al. Well, Big Al's not here, but hi Houston Burnett and Go Tigers from Cope SC. John gets in, says, glad to see Spector and Stellato both on the active spring roster. Hope both show us something. Now, John, I got to mention this because I did have somebody call me out about this, but Troy Stellato did play in 2 games last year. Troy Stellato did take 23 snaps out of 900 total available snaps. He took 23 snaps. Okay. So now I did a video about, the wide receiver outlook, and I made a joke, which most people don't get my jokes, except for me and maybe you. But I made an off comment that Troy Stellato has been a ghost. I've never seen him in a uniform and don't know how much he's really played at all. We'd love to see the guy, but don't really know who he is. It was really a joke. I know he's played. I could look at the stats. I'm not an idiot, but also you didn't question whether or not he was a ghost or not. So you knew I was joking at least about that. So, anyways, I digress. But it is good to see Spector and Stellato because the slot position was a position of concern. Let's go ahead and start there. Houston, do you agree that it is important for Clemson to get a traditional slot player, not your 6'4", not this whole, don't even give me this, Houston. Don't give me this DeAndre Overton could play. Don't give me this Justin Ross can play. No. Now, Bo Collins did do well. But Dabo Swinney said it today. We'll talk about it. Well, I'm not even going to, we're going to bring Dabo Swinney on the show. Yes, that's right. Dabo Swinney is going to be on the show, not live, not in person, and he doesn't know anything about it. We're going to be playing a replay of him from yesterday, but he will be on the show.
So with Troy Stellato and Spector, I think it's good to get them healthy first and foremost, because that's the main thing. It's just good to see them in action and have more opportunities in this game than what they've had, given what's gone on the last couple of years. And I guess from playing slot, I think you're going to have more options this year. And I don't know, Morgan, if you can see it, but you look like translucent right now, at least on my camera. I don't know, people, you tell me out there if I'm crazy or not.
I've been thinking about going to the tanning bed, but
you were like a ghost. That's what it looked like.
If that's the case, then I don't think, if I'm being a ghost, then I'm giving you my Troy Stellato impression.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's not a ghost anymore, and I think you're gonna have more options. There we go, John Sarian. He says he's in the Matrix. That's what you did look like. But anyway, I think having more options this year is going to be a bigger deal. Even if you look at someone like Antonio Williams, he's not necessarily a traditional slot. But if push comes to shove and you have a billion injuries, hopefully not. Hopefully we get to naturally work him in. But if you're in a pinch, I feel comfortable putting someone like Antonio Williams in there as well. But you're going to have Stellato. You're going to have Spector. Eventually you'll have Will Taylor. You'll have Antonio Williams. You'll have potentially EJ Williams that you could work in there. And you have Bo Collins, who played slot last year. So I think you've got options this year. I think just getting healthy is gonna make things a lot better for this team in the long run.
Getting healthy is difficult because they just lost Adam Randall. Although speculation is, as you mentioned to me, I did count back 7 months, and that puts us around November timeframe. But he could come back earlier.
Well, what I want to point out is he could come back earlier. He's not been ruled out forever. Apparently, this was the best case scenario per Dabo for being able to rehab and get back. He said at the
end of the day, he tore his ACL. He didn't tear other things.
No, yeah.
But it's still. I tore my ACL twice. Didn't tear other things. Didn't have meniscus issues. I'm also not a high-performing athlete like him. So, it took me about a year to get back to normal. But, obviously you saw it with Amari Rodgers. He got back quickly. There's always hope. But is he even necessarily needed? he would be an outside guy. Well, if Ngata does well and EJ Williams can get healthy, then maybe Dakari Collins seems to be healthy. So maybe you don't necessarily need him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Maybe
what is the problem if we're getting to the middle of the year and we're saying, man, I wish Adam Randall was back. We're missing him. That's a big problem. If he comes back early, it should be a bonus. If he's able to play, get him a few reps, get him used to game action. Great. You shouldn't theoretically have to rely on him as heavy as some of the other guys that you might have to do, like Dakari or Bo or Ngata or or EJ or something like that. It should be a bonus to get him back. So even if it's something where he doesn't play at all or very sparingly until November, bonus. I think being able to get him back for like the stretch run, kind of like getting Braden Galloway back after a year off in 2019. We didn't win the national championship game, but it was very evident that he was going to be utilized in those last couple games. Especially in that big play and the national championship game. That's kind of how I view Randall. He could be that that guy that's at the end of the year that kind of really takes us over the top potentially.
I mean, I would say Dakari Collins did that a little bit. Bo Collins definitely would fit that role of like late season bloomer into a solid player for sure. So yeah, I mean, we have to admit the injuries can seem to be still lingering around. There are two new ones, to be Jaden Lucas and Adam Randall. But from what Dabo said, thankfully, most of them are either temporary that just happened like mono, or they are postseason, cleaning up and recovery. So not doom and gloom. Obviously difficult because you don't have everybody. And they're not going to be everybody. Like let's look at I put a tweet out there, and this was from TigerNet's post that was out there. I mentioned the players that were not playing, and I got guys like Lee and Casey and everybody saying, man, the list of people that are playing is probably smaller. So let me give you the list real quick. The list is Bo Collins. This is not playing in the spring game. Bo Collins, Will Shipley, Sheridan Jones, EJ Williams, Kobe Pace, Trey Williams, Landon Zanders, Walker Parks, Davis Allen, Adam Randall, Jaden Lucas, Brian Bresee, Sage Ennis, Will Taylor, Malcolm Green, Tyler Venables, Robert Gunn III, and Dietrich Pennington. So long list there.
It's a long list, but to be honest with you, given how things were last year and how we have XYZ number, I mean, I would say half of those guys are still recovering from last year. That's why they're not playing. So given that, and given all the nicks and pulls and strains and stuff, I don't care. Like, honestly, outside of Caden DJ, pull everybody else out and just wrap them in bubble wrap. Just have a walk-on Super Bowl for the spring game, and I ain't gonna say a word. I'd love to see two teams at full strength, but you have a ton of injuries still that from last year to get cleaned up. You got guys that go through what spring would be is a handful of guys that get nicked up or strains and pulls, but it looks a lot worse because of what happened last year. So that's
everybody's like, oh no, doom and gloom again, all over.
And it's just relax. Like Adam Randall and Hunter A. Byrne and all that that stings, and we never want to see that. But it's only exacerbated because of what's happened in the past and what we're bringing in. So it's it's April. Let's just get healthy.
Pixie and Pete gets in, says deuces. He gives us the peace sign. Timothy Selecki gets in and says spring game this weekend. Finally, some Clemson football action. LOL. Clemson, best Clemson show out. Definitely.
Here we go.
Best Clemson show. Best Clemson show. Yes. Yeah. We need that. WWE, like Bryan
Danielson? Come on, man. It's Daniels. Come on.
Bryan Danielson?
No. Daniels. You said Danielson.
His name's Bryan Danielson.
Hold up. Because I went to Raw. There's a whole thing about this.
He's not even on WWE anymore.
Oh, I know.
But anyway, he changed his name. It used to be Daniel Bryan. Now it's Bryan Danielson.
Oh, so it was Daniel Bryan. Okay.
It was Daniel Bryan, but his real name is Bryan Danielson. So.
Okay. That's why I was like, wait, what in the world are you talking about? I didn't realize.
Come on, man. Get with your WWE. Get with your AEW.
I didn't know he changed his name.
Get with your wrestling. Come on, man. Come on.
I went to Raw in 2014.
Did you watch Wednesday night? Did you watch the best tag team matchup? It was very great. It was very
No, I was watching Stone Cold versus McAfee, man. That was electric, dude. WrestleMania this weekend was the bomb.
I did watch some WrestleMania. I did enjoy that. Cody Rhodes returned. He was on my favorite show, AEW. Dusty Rhodes' son, sorry. And, he came back and switched, big controversial thing like NWO. He changed from AEW to WWE. It was a big deal, but it was a great match though. Anyways, Andrew gets in over on YouTube, says, "What's up, guys?" And Timothy also gets in, says, "What do y'all think about what Big Dave said?" Oh boy. Well. Let's talk about Big Dave. Now, let me tell you something. I wouldn't mind having Big Dave on the show. I'd like to get some thoughts from him about certain things. But and I'm not going to take a personal shot at Big Dave, but I do not think that it did not make sense. Okay. If I'm a dad of a player, it did not make sense to call out to tag Clemson football and say none of the defensive coaches have reached out to Mateo about recruiting, and then basically question whether or not they want to recruit or they're interested in his son. First of all, you already have a relationship with the head coach. He just a few weeks ago posted about the same topic, saying that people who think Clemson's not in the running are mistaken and then he showed a screenshot of Dabo Swinney calling him on his iPhone. So he obviously has contact and an accessibility to Dabo, which is something you and I don't have. He has direct contact to Dabo Swinney through a cell phone number. He's obviously been in contact with Dabo regarding his son. His son has been offered a scholarship to Clemson, albeit he has not shown up. He did not show up to the junior day, right? He did not show up to the things this spring, as far as I know. He's coming this weekend. He is, which is another weird thing. He posted that this week, but his son was already scheduled to come this weekend. Who scheduled that? What I've heard through the grapevine is that the his mama bear, has been in contact. So I'm assuming that maybe Big Dave wasn't in the loop, which again, that goes back into all that drama about mom, dad. We've heard they're possibly separated. They're possibly not living together. And I don't know. I don't want to get into all that because that's really none of my business. But at the end of the day, he didn't know what was going on, didn't seem to know what was going on. And then calls out Clemson football, tags Clemson football, doesn't tag Wes Goodwin, doesn't tag, Mike Reed, doesn't tag anybody else, doesn't tag Khan, doesn't tag anybody else on the Twitterverse, doesn't tag Hall or anybody. He tags Clemson football in general. And, that's going to go to literally the masses. And then he walks it back and deletes the comment. So I don't know what to think about. I mean, to me, maybe it's just, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to chalk it up to a drunk text.
I mean, look, I don't know. I think the bigger problem to me is, like, even if they're not being contacted, there's a reason. It's when you put, like, 2 weeks ago saying NIL, baby, that's what's really making the choice for us. I think everybody kind of knows that's not really the move that Dabo and company are looking to make. Now, look, I don't know, like, if all the drama is true and all, one side's taking one side, another side's taking another side, you might get two separate messages from two separate people.
Oh, I guarantee you that. I mean, especially this situation.
Yeah, and so, like, we don't know. I don't know.
I don't think they know.
I don't think they know.
Big Dave obviously don't know.
I mean, it could be a situation where Mama wants him to go to Clemson to be with DJ or in the same spot. Maybe she's out here. But I could also see a situation where it's like, yo, hey, I'm going to go to USC or Oregon to secure the bag. Whatever. Like, it's whatever at this point. I
mean, the player is. I mean, I don't think that there's that much drama with the actual players. And that may be the sad thing, is that what happens with him gets kind of input onto the image of DJ. And unfortunately, from what I've seen from DJ, he has taken all of this crap from me, from others, from the Twitterverse on the chin. I mean, he has accepted it. So we can sit here and knock him all we want about certain things. I've gotten to the point where I'll say something positive about him. I'll talk about how I enjoyed seeing him working on his craft in Texas, and you still get 5 or 6 people talking junk about him. And to me, that you just, like the kid gets out there and he's trying and he's still with Clemson. He hasn't transferred out. He selected Clemson many years ago. He's still committed and he still does his best. And the coaches say how good he has been at responding and listening to them. The guy, literally, we said he needs to lose weight. And what has he done? He's gone out and lost 20 pounds, which is not easy. I mean, some of y'all have taken 50 years to lose 20 pounds. So this guy has done it in a few months. He's obviously putting it out there and trying to do his best to improve who he is as a person and as a player. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he's got, some drama that's following him. But, I think I think let's separate Big Dave from DJU because they're two completely different people.
Yeah. Like I'm going to say this because I think people that want to lump this drama together, that's not fair to him. I think he wants to focus on his game, focus on the task at hand, and that's I'm going to leave it at that because I want him to do good. I've wanted DJ to do well. I'm not going to talk about his personal life. I don't think it's fair to him. And I'll say this to Clemson fans that want to lump this together. It's not being very fair. Like, it's one thing to talk about on-field performance, but when you got a situation like this that's very public, keep your mouth shut. That's the best thing to, and not Morgan. I'm not coming at you or anything. Like I'm talking about generally as fans. I'm just saying like we need. I'm
not going to tell any fan to keep their mouth shut. I mean, they can say what they want to say, but I will say this, like I think it's all about like don't let that happen. Negatively affect your opinion of DJ because it doesn't seem like it's the same. It's the same at all.
Yeah, but this is like personal stuff. Like, and I get it.
Unfortunately, it's out there in the open, in public.
In the open.
And once it's in the public, it's in the public, man.
It's in the public, but like, it's not right. It's not right for DJ. It's not right for Mateo.
It's not, I would say it's not fair. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. It's not. What I mean is not fair. It's not fair for DJ.
Because to be honest with you about Mateo, I would take him. I mean, he's one of the best defensive ends, one of the best defensive linemen out there. And I think being with your brother, there's always that piece outside of the 5-star part of a player. Being with your brother is meaningful. Playing with your brother at a high level at a top university is meaningful. Now, away from home is tough. I always think like, it's stressful to have to be 2,000 miles away from your family. But if you could be with your family, why not? So I say, if I'm Mateo, I'm going to Clemson and I'm going to carry it on. But also I know Clemson is consistently producing the best defensive ends in the nation, the best defensive linemen in the nation, year in and year out. So, I mean, as a school in general, but I will also say, you can't really knock the fact that the Clemson's giving him space because, I mean, from Big Dave's perspective, dude, you've been out here bragging about Oregon, bragging about USC, talking about how Lincoln Riley is exactly who you wanted at your favorite university. You've been talking about all these things. So any fan like myself would assume that you are influencing Mateo to go to USC. So maybe the coaches are like, hey, let's back off a little bit because there has to be reciprocated love, right? You don't want to just chase somebody to the end of the earth because then what happens? You end up in January, Houston, and somebody you chased all of a sudden goes to Gainesville and you're left holding the bag thinking, well, I chased you this whole entire year. I'm not speaking about anyone specific, but I'm just saying that did kind of happen. But anyway, sorry. So Big Bible Belt Beauty says drunk tweet. Timothy gets in, wanted to know what people think. Ain't crazy thought. Internet was going dumb. Don't know what he's talking about there. Perhaps Big Dave is bipolar. John says, I'm sick of the drama. Let's move on. Sick of the drama. Let's do it. Bill says, don't forget the Daniel Lyons walk-on receivers. There are half a dozen on the Clemson roster. He must be making fun of the Clemson roster because I know a lot of people remember last year, Houston, we had to deal with that about how like, Dabo Swinney doesn't know what he's doing with the roster because there are, 35 people from Daniel on there, which is all hogwash, is all crap.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're all from Daniel, who just happens to be defending 2-time 3A state champions. I mean, yeah, well,
they're all trash.
It's not like a half a dozen people from West Side, right?
Whoa.
Oh man. Uh-oh. Morgan, where'd you go? There he is.
I just hid myself on the screen there.
Yeah.
Sorry. I meant to hide you. Oh, sorry about that. You know, just took you off the screen there for saying your ridiculousness about I meant to hide Dabo. That was the whole thing. I meant to hide Dabo. But anyways, don't be talking about West Side High School, bro. Don't talk about the West Side, the best side.
West Side, the best side.
Tyree gets in, says, "What's going on, fellas?" Well, we're doing good, man. I appreciate you getting in, being a part of the show. Hey, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Let's get Dabo on the line. Dabo, welcome in. It's so great to have you. You know, I know you haven't been on the show in quite some time. We really appreciate you. We love you, Coach. Even though, you know, some places, if you're an intern, some places, Houston, you can't say you love Dabo, which is why I started this show, because I want to be able to talk about Clemson and also say that I'll be, you know, in love with Dabo as long as he's with Clemson. But anyways, I love Dabo. Love me some Dabo. Dabo Homer right here. Dabo Homer. I know people on Twitter hate for me to say that, but big Dabo Homer.
Well, there you go.
Bunny gets in, says, "What time will you be on Mickey's show tomorrow?" I don't know if anybody knows this. I don't know if he mentioned this on the show. I listened to some of his show this morning and then realized that I was listening to yesterday's show because I miss his show because I don't wake up that early. I go and listen to his replay and I missed his show. And I'm like thinking I'm listening to his show, but I'm listening to the yesterday's show. So I don't know what he said this show, but I will be on the show tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be a host, co-host, producer. I don't know. I'm actually going there to learn the board and, you know, try to get educated by John Haidt. So hopefully you'll get to see me there or hear from me there. Faxon got in. He's learning the board as well. I don't know if you knew this, Houston, but Faxon is learning the board. And so they're just training us up on the board. So, yeah. You know, never done the board. Hey, Houston, have you ever done, you used to work for them, right? Have you ever done the board?
Nope. I sat in the back and I answered calls. I was around the board. There was a few buttons they allowed me to push, but most of the time, Ramona was very possessive of said board. Love Ramona to death. She did a great job producing shows, but you ain't gonna let an intern touch the board when I was working there. So, yeah.
Oh, so no wonder they didn't have a show today. Plyler wasn't in this morning. That's what Tiger Paw says. So maybe you notice what he's doing. He's taking the day off to get some rest so he can handle me because, you know, I'm so all over the place. Houston, that makes sense, though. I wouldn't allow you to press any buttons either. John gets in and says I'm pressing too many buttons. So he's getting dizzy over there. But Dabo, let's bring Dabo on. Hopefully you can hear him here. I don't know if you'll be able to hear him. Hopefully you will be.
Last day.
You know. Let me know if you can't hear him in the comments. Houston, can you hear him?
Just a good competitive game and really just kind of, you know, we've got some guys that have had really good springs, and I'd like to see them kind of carry that over into that environment. We've got a lot of guys that have really had to play much bigger roles this spring than maybe they have in the past. And then you split the team. With 20 scholarship guys unavailable, it gets thin quick. So it's going to be fun, man. I just want to see them compete. I want to see some of these guys that maybe haven't played as many reps and maybe aren't going to have to play a ton of reps in the season. I want to see how they respond. I want to see how they handle it. You know, so, you know, just see them take and execute what we've done this spring. Not have a bunch of missed assignments. Guys that haven't had much opportunity that are going to get some opportunity, show that they know what to do, and you know, just see them have some fun and put on a good show for the crowd.
All right, so that's his opening statement there, Houston. He just says he wants them to have fun, which is kind of what the spring game's all about, right? And we know that there's going to be a lot of players out. We already went over that list. So when you go in as a fan, now he mentioned he wants to see execution, he wants to see good fundamentals, he wants to see guys that maybe don't get a lot of reps play and perform it and show what they can do, show what they've learned this offseason. Are those the things that you look forward to as well, Houston? When you're a fan in there and you're trying to analyze it, let's say you were writing an article for Rubbing the Rock. Let's say you were analyzing it, if you will. Do you look for the stars and what they can do, or are you looking for those maybe diamonds in the rough? And what would you suggest fans who maybe haven't gone to many mini spring games? What would you
Well,
suggest they do?
first and foremost, what you're cheering for is everyone's healthy. That's number one. You don't want to see anybody laid up on the field, or if it is very, very minimal, nicks, cuts, bruises, whatever. I guess for what you want to see is you want to see one side not dominate the other, because that would be a big problem. And two, you want to see crispness on both sides. One thing, the easy thing to pull out is seeing how crisp the quarterbacks are. Excuse me. It's not always going to be the most crisp because, you got a bunch of guys out and everything, but you got enough guys on each side where, hey, if you can hit your targets for gains and kind of get things rolling a little bit in the passing game, you get some reps for Spector and for Stellato and Collins and for Bo Collins playing. No, Bo Collins is out.
Bakari. If you say Collins, you're not wrong.
Yeah, true.
One of those four.
I was shocked to see Ngata, and this is a good thing. I'm glad Ngata is healthy. I want to make sure. Honestly, if they didn't play him and he's perfectly healthy, I understand. So just being able to see some Christmas, and then on top of that, the last little cherry on top is throw a little crowd work in. Throw a couple bombs, see what happens.
Let's see some things that might jump people out of their seat.
Yeah,
you didn't really see that much last year, to be honest. I took my daughter. It was hot and she was bored, and a little bit I was bored, to be honest with you. It was not a lot of big exciting plays, and that was your first hint right there, I think, of what was going on last year. But
you got a competition this year, and that's going to keep a lot of people invested. I don't know how long they'll play Cade and DJ. I'd imagine you'll get maybe a quarter and a half before they yank both of them.
Let's not push it. Yeah.
But I think you're going to get 2 big throws from each of them, and if they're complete for touchdowns, awesome. If they're not, then it's whatever. Just take your shots. Let's see what happens.
That spring game I can remember was Mike Bellamy, or maybe it was the first game of the season. I can't remember, but it was like Sammy Watkins and Mike Bellamy both took it to the house, like on their first catch and first run. And I was like, wow, we got an electric offense, and then Bellamy never played. Sammy went on to have a great year, great season. But anyways, Tiger Paw gets in over on YouTube, says, is Dabo announcing that Big Al Adams is entering the transfer portal with this video? I hope not. We hope not too, man. We hope not too. Allen will hopefully be back, but he has apparently bigger priorities than the show, and that is church basketball, not college basketball. Even though Clemson does need players. Let's go back. Let's take it. Hey, Houston, let's swing it back over to Dabo, if you don't mind.
Okay, let's do it.
And hopefully see a huge crowd there. We have a ton of recruits there. We got a lot of former players coming back. We got a lot of families that are going to be here. This is a huge deal for these players, and that's one of the reasons that we went ahead and split the team, even though we're thin in some areas, because that's the only way you can create. It's just such a rare opportunity that you get a chance to really create a game environment, in practice. So this is a great opportunity for our quarterbacks. It's a great opportunity for some of the D linemen, especially these offensive linemen. Every position, receivers, young DBs. For a guy like, Pride and Koval to be able to go out there in this environment and go play. A guy like Spector, who really hasn't played in front of a crowd in a long time. Some of our young specialists, and then again, some of those D linemen. It's a lot of reps coming for Cape Hart, a lot of reps coming for Peyton Page, a lot of reps coming for some of them young linemen, and it'll be fun.
So obviously Dabo Swinney's excited about guys we really hadn't been able to talk about outside of their high school film. And that is DeMonte Capehart, Peyton Page, Brandon Spector, guy we hadn't been able to talk about in a long time. And they're on the radar. He also mentioned Toriano Pride, Cole Turner in there as well, looking at the offensive line, defensive line, any of those guys. If those guys he mentioned by name, anyone, pique your interest the most?
Well, I think you want to see kind of a 1A, 1B of like what we were talking about earlier. If you can find a guy who's having a great game that you're like, whoa, where did this guy, DeMonte Capehart, where did he come from? Peyton Page took another step. A good idea of what we think about when it comes to somebody taking the next step. And I'm gonna go kind of retro in this. Can you hear me? There we go. There I am. There's Morgan.
No idea. No idea.
Oh my gosh. What are we doing here? Anyway, so I'm going to date myself here. 2005 spring game, I want to say. Me and my brother went out there. I was 15 and we were sitting in the stands, and there was this one guy that just took over the field, and it was Corey Groover, number 7. I remember him. He's one of my underrated, more favorite defensive linemen, and he had a spectacular 2005 after that. He's a JUCO transfer. You want to see something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lineman, but somebody that you weren't expecting. Maybe it is a freshman. Maybe it's somebody taking the next step. Maybe it's somebody like Cade Denhoff or something like that takes the next step, and you go, whoa, oh, that's awesome. This is the type of environment that's meant to do that.
All right, let's get back into it real quick, and let's continue. Dabo had some connection problems, so we got him back. Dabo, thank you for joining us. In more questions for you.
I heard that Mickey's going to coach the white team. Who's coaching the orange, and what are you looking at?
Mike Reed is coaching. He is the orange team, and Kyle Richardson is.
I'm going to go ahead and skip that. I don't really like. I mean, he talks about who's coaching teams, who's calling plays. Trading players, players on the team. All right, so let's go back. Let's start it back around here. Let's get into some questions we really like.
That'll be fun.
Coach Richardson said last week that y'all lost confidence in the passing game last season. You feel like you've gotten that back?
Yeah, I mean, not fully yet because we don't have everybody out here, but it's hard to be confident when your best players aren't out there. Just it is what it is, and then so. We had forgot how to throw and catch around here, but we had to grow through some tough challenges last year. Again, last 3+ games, we 7 scholarship receivers out, and pretty much every game, you never know who was going to be out there. It was an unbelievably challenging year. That's why when it's all said and done, and you really kind of step back and remove yourself from the fray of it, and you really evaluate that team and that season, unbelievable. That team overachieved. There's no question. That team had no business winning 10 games. And not only won 10 games, but were in it in every game. But that's the heart. That's the belief. And, there's a lot of silver linings that come with it, too. I mean, if you'd have told me Bo and Dakari were going to start most of the games last year, or a good portion of the games, I'd have said, well, something bad has happened. And something bad happened. If you'd told me Will Swinney was going to start 3 games in the slot, I'd have dang sure said something bad happened. If you'd have told me that we were going to have 3.
All right. So he takes a knock at Will Swinney there, Houston. But you know what's so funny? I think that is needed. I'm going to post that on Twitter, that quote from him, because, man, you remember back last year. I mean, all the haters on Twitter just constantly talking about, why is Will Swinney out there? Why is Drew Swinney out there? Well, if you listen to Dabo and you actually a fan and you understand the roster, the way they had it, the way it was, I mean, they had going into the season, I think, or at least out of spring, thinking they were going to have 5 slot receivers. By the time you get to Will Swinney and Will Brown, you were at 5 and 6 on the depth chart. So, why are they out there? Well, they're out there because there's literally no one else, and it's not because of poor recruiting. It's because the guys in front of them have gotten hurt.
Yeah, you had a ton of injuries. Like O-line and wide receiver, even if you get half those guys back and keep them healthy, the outlook is completely different. Think about this from a standpoint of this year. If you keep a Stellato and a Will Taylor and an Antonio Williams healthy, right there, you've got a slot fixed or presumably fix. You got to catch the ball, but I feel like that's already step one in being better. Staying healthy and keeping people healthy is going to be a big deal this year, but I think getting people back, we're reading so much into the injury piece of it. It's bad when fans have reverted back to the old adages from 2008 and 2009 and 2010 that our strength and conditioning program, oh man, something's wrong. I'm here and I'm like,
do you really blame the strength and conditioning coach for a torn ACL?
No, I mean, you can't blame them for a torn ACL when you're going out and running routes and you just slip on the grass and tear your ACL.
Somebody did message me and say, what about the turf? Can you blame playing on a turf field?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, it's different. Players, and honestly, I have a friend of mine who's a turf grass manager. He would tell you that you're less likely to have injuries on a grass field, grass turf, which is most of Clemson, than like pellets or
the practice facility is artificial.
Well, and I don't know where the injury took place. Maybe
I don't know either. But
I don't know. I mean, if it's on the grass fields, it just was by circumstance. Maybe the artificial turf might have got him. It's not something that I mean, you're gonna have to play on artificial turf. You're gonna have to play on grass. Why are we trying to blame things over something that you don't have any control over? That's the main thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think, anytime something bad happens, you always try to find, the reason why, and it was always somebody else's fault. And I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, I come from experience of tearing an ACL. I haven't torn an Achilles and all this other things, but I mean, it was just a fluke accident for me. I mean, literally a month before I started playing basketball, I was probably at the best shape of my life. I had just walked on, or had just finished and ended my season walking on at Anderson at playing soccer. I was running 6.5 minute miles. I was, probably 160 pounds. I was like super, super skinny and in the best shape of my life as far as like being, cardiovascular. And I really feel like as far as like running, in the best shape of my life and cutting. I mean, I was playing soccer. I get on the basketball court and the first game of the season, tear my ACL. Nobody touched me. I literally went up for a layup and never got off the ground. I took one step and fell. And the reason why I fell is because my knee gave out. And I looked down at myself. I remember the situation very vividly, like looking down, grabbing my knee in pain and thinking in my head, I can't believe this just happened. Like nobody touched me. Like, this is crazy. And I knew it was bad, Houston, because nobody touched me. Because I've watched enough sports to know when it's not a non-contact thing, it's kind of serious.
Well, that's what happened with Deshaun. Deshaun was at Georgia Tech and he just has one false step, just one step. And that was it. I know a lot of people that's happened to. I knew a tennis player. He took one step and he went out. I don't even like watching those videos of like tennis players when they do their slides, because they slide hard on that court. Yeah. And I've seen rolled ankles, I've seen twisted knees, I've seen things I hate. I don't like. Bible Belt gets in, says if artificial turf can be proven to be causing injuries, it should be replaced nationwide. I mean, I feel like the thing is, to me, when I think about it, I think if you look at Odell Beckham Jr., biggest game of the year, tears his ACL. You look at Jamison Williams, biggest game of the year, two of the greatest teams in football, Alabama and the LA Rams right now, in today's age, the two of the wealthiest teams right now. And both of them had non-contact injuries running a route. And sometimes, I guess maybe both of them were on turf though, but, because I know one happened in LA and that was turf. That was not real grass. And then I know the other one happened, I believe, in the national championship, which was Indianapolis, which was on turf. So, I could see it. I guess I could see it. I think that was John who mentioned that in the comments, or somebody mentioned it in the comments on one of our videos, but I hate to let Dabo sit here in silence. He's so prestigious. Maybe we should respect him a little more, Houston. Maybe we should let him speak again. You want to let him get back to it? Okay, let's go for it.
3 different centers and 7 offensive linemen. It was crazy. And most of it was one side of the ball. And we were fortunate there because defensively we were able to kind of keep us in some games and give us a chance. And then we had to get creative. It forced the coaches to have to really be creative because, we couldn't just stick with a plan. We had to really create and find ways to get a first down. And then we had to really coach in a way that we haven't had a chance to coach in a while. And the struggle makes you stronger. That's what I love about DJ, man. I mean, he's got some battle wounds. He's scarred up. He's a stronger, more mature, better version of himself than we've ever seen. And that's going to serve us well. And we're going to be a team that I think has a deeper appreciation of what it looks like, what it takes. And, I think that team last year really reset the appreciation on just winning. I mean, I told y'all, I think that locker room in Orlando might be the best locker room I've ever been in, and so just there's a lot of silver linings that come from last year. A guy like Marcus Tate and all the experience that he got, certainly the experience that DJ got, how the challenges that he had to go through and grow, never pointed the finger, never blamed, never made excuses, just kept his head down and just kept plowing forward. The experience that Bo and Dakari got, the experience of Brenny, just being able to get a little taste of it, it is exciting. The experience of a guy like Nate, what we were able to do with Trenton last year, I think he's just going to be at another level. Barrett Carter. I mean, there's so many silver linings that came from the season. And hopefully once we get back going in August, we get back to being a complete team, we'll have a chance to have all the confidence we need in every area that we need to win the game.
With all the guys that were out this spring, was this the most challenging spring for you guys as coaching staff?
I don't know if challenging. I mean, it was probably the thinnest we've ever had.
Loading. Dabo's connection's really difficult right now, Houston. So we'll let the Clemson athletic staff get him back online. But my question to you, Houston, is when you look at it, do you think that? I mean, do you think that it's been a great, that last season, as much as we complained about it, he said, they had no business winning 10 games. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like that, last year was such a great season for guys like Trenton Simpson to show who they were, for guys like Barrett Carter to now kind of get that, and Nate Wiggins, and then again, to really showcase the defense too, just how solid they were getting by while the offense had to figure it out literally the whole season. I mean, I can see a lot of silver linings like Dabo said.
Yeah, no, I think you got a lot of young guys that learned how to win, and you got a lot of young guys on the offense that learned how to win. I'll be honest, dude. Some of the freshmen that played last year, that like the Shipleys and the Moffas and the Collins wide receivers, that's huge because you got guys that weren't necessarily supposed to be alphas have to become alphas. So now you've got younger guys pushing older guys. You've got a freshman group that seems to have a chip on their shoulder as well, that's come in with Lucas and Pride and Koval and Klubnik and Randall, presumably, when he gets back. So you got a lot of guys pushing each other. And now you've got a bunch of young guys that have learned how to win in tough circumstances. I think that's going to pay off. And pair that with a bunch of talent and speed on defense and experience on defense. And look, if you think about it one way, he says, look, they got no business winning 10 games last year. He's right. But on the same token, you're 5 plays away from being 12-0. That's the truth about it. You it has to go both ways. You're 5 plays away from having a losing record, but you're also 5 plays away from being undefeated. And so if you got a bunch of experience and guys pushing one another, I think it's going to be positive next year.
All right, Houston. We've talked about the spring game. We kind of let Dabo Swinney, we let him go. We let him get on the show and kind of run it for us. We don't let him get on the show very much. He's a busy guy. We're thankful that he came on. Again, the spring game is just one day, 17 hours away. April 9th, 1 p.m. I haven't decided if I'm going to go yet or not. know you will be able to watch it on TV, or at least I hope you will be able to. And then the second thing is a friend invited me to his birthday party. So, maybe.
Well, I can tell you the Burnett family, as of right now, Houston and the ladies of the Burnett family will be making the trek over to the spring game, assuming it doesn't get colder than 50 degrees.
Bob Sadler wants me to go and hang out with him. I look forward to seeing some of the players and some of the players' families that watch the show, and some of you guys that watch the show if you're going to be there. I really am debating over whether or not it's going to be kind of cold, I think. Going to be might be 56 degrees high tomorrow. And it's been windy a lot, and rainy too. My daughter couldn't practice Thursday because of all the rain. But let's go around. So let's go around the horn here. We only have a few minutes left. First up, baseball travels to number 6 Notre Dame. A little bit of an overview. Clemson, who's 2-2 on the road, defeated number 10 Georgia 4-3 at home Tuesday.
Yeah,
Houston, you look happy? No?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like they had a huge win. You can't understate how big that win was for Clemson to win 4-3 the other night. Billy Barlow, spectacular. Cooper Ingle, watcher of this show. Hey man, good job if you're watching. Keep hitting those homers. The problem is this team, ever since they lost to Northeastern in that final game, is Jekyll and Hyde, and they're definitely more Mr. Hyde when it comes to this. What team is going to show up is the big thing this weekend. You're capable of keeping things close. You're also very capable of getting blown out 3 games. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope the team that showed up and beat Georgia shows up to South Bend this weekend, because you gotta strap it on and go to work this weekend.
Clemson 19-9, 2-6 in the ACC. Notre Dame 17-5, 5-4 in the ACC. Starting rotation: Mac Anglin Friday, Nick Hoffman Saturday, Nick Clayton Sunday. You're looking at 5 p.m. Friday, 2 p.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. Sunday. Clemson, again, just finished beating Georgia, number 10 ranked Georgia. The Tigers are averaging 7.9 runs per game, hitting 2.84 with 4.65 slugging average, 4.0 or 4.01 on base percentage, and 15 steals. The pitching staff has a 14.12 ERA. That doesn't sound very good. 14.12, and opponents are hitting 241, and there's a 2.31 strike to walk out ratio, to walk ratio. Clemson's is fielding 9.977. Quick hits here. Clemson is 2-6 in the ACC, but has scored the same number of runs in those 8 games as their opponents. 55 and 55. So they're obviously scoring, but they're not doing. I mean, are they? So I'm assuming, I don't know those 6 ACC games, but it seemed maybe are they losing them big, or are they losing them close?
Well, you got to factor in 20 of those runs came in one game against Miami.
Miami?
Yeah, they had one 20-run game against Miami, and I want to say they had another 14-run game against NC State.
Yikes.
So, yeah.
So that's a big. That's a kind of a misleading stat there. Clemson.com, ClemsonTigers.com. Clemson is 16-1 when totaling at least as many hits as its opponents, and 3-8 when getting out hit. I mean, you know how you win games, Houston. You score more runs, you get more hits. That's how you win games.
Don't walk people.
Benjamin Blackwell 13, Cooper Ingle 13, and Max Wagner 12. All have 12-plus game hitting streaks and reaching base via hit or walk or pitch or hit by pitch. Olenchuk has been reliable out of the bullpen. Sophomore right-hander Ty Olenchuk has emerged as one of the team's top relievers. He's 2-0 with a 1.45 ERA. 206 opponent batting average, 21 strikeouts, 5 walks, 18.12 innings pitched over 13 outings. So he's getting in pretty much every game, it seems like, allowing just 2 extra base hits, both doubles this year so far. Pretty good. So I like that.
Yeah, you need more out of your bullpen than just Ty Olenchuk, though. I mean, you got to get kind of back to where you were at the beginning of the year when you could put in Jay Dill or you could put in Alex Edmondson. It's like I said, Jekyll and Hyde, but the bullpen is slowly becoming Mr. Hyde outside of Alex Ty Olenchuk.
Women's softball team getting ready to play Pittsburgh this weekend as well in Pittsburgh, PA. Friday, 5 p.m., Saturday, 1 p.m., Sunday, 12 p.m. Clemson, number 18 in the nation, 27-10, 6-6 in the ACC. Pittsburgh right now not doing very well in the ACC, 13-16 overall, but 1-9 overall. So this will be one where, at least so far, I'm thinking we need to go for a sweep. So, ladies, let's get out there, get the bats going. By the way, preview: Clemson takes a 27-10 overall record into the 3-game series. The Tigers will face the Panthers for the first time in program history. They've outscored opponents 187-80 in games this season, including run ruling 10 opponents. Run ruling is when you get over 8 runs after the 5th inning, or after the end of the 5th inning, so you don't go all the way to the 7th. Clemson has 259 hits through 37 games, including 39 doubles and 42 home runs. The Tigers have the 7th strongest schedule in the country entering Week 9 and sit at 12 in the RPI list. So again, John Rittman talked about this, Houston, about how, they're not necessarily, there are games where they're struggling, but those games that they're struggling, they're playing Virginia Tech and Duke, like two of some of the greatest teams out there right now, greatest pitchers out there. So obviously those games where they're not getting any hits, they're going against, as you mentioned too, in a couple of shows back, they're going against some of the best pitchers in the nation. So obviously, you don't want to knock them for that, because, the competition is difficult. You're looking there, the 7th strongest schedule in the nation right now, and to still be in the top 25 is really good for the Tigers. Again, I will say though, they need to improve their hitting. Gumbarda had a great walk-off home run the last game, and they had or 2 games ago, I believe. And then the last game, they had a no-hitter from their pitcher. So Millie got in there and threw a no-hitter. So Gumbarda hit 4 home runs against the Tar Heels last weekend. And she's 5th among players in the NCAA with home runs. And she started out this season kind of slow, to be honest with you. So I think she's doing really good and figuring it out. That's the biggest thing, is just getting to the plate, figuring out. She's not ever been used to just being, a middle of the road batting average, middle of the road slugging. She's always, at least since she's played at Furman and when she played at the beginning at Clemson, she's always been the big hitter. And you could count on her and Valerie. And really, the beginning of the season is she's been trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing this weekend, like you said, go for a sweep. Let's mercy rule Pittsburgh 3 games in a row, and then go mercy rule South Carolina and Columbia. Because I love the fact that we've had a program for 3 years, and we have just already dusted South Carolina twice. Yeah. We've dusted them, and I feel like we can dust them again in Columbia this year and get the sweep. We're
congratulations to the women's basketball team.
Yeah. Well, who cares? We're talking softball here, man. Let's dusting in softball. And but I think what I was saying earlier is, for where Clemson's at, even if you lose the series to Florida State, even if you get swept by Florida State, if you win,
don't say that. Don't put that in the atmosphere.
Well, look,
they are the best. They are one of the best teams in the nation.
Florida State is arguably one of the best teams, if not the best, in the ACC. If you win every other series, you beat South Carolina, you minimize your midweek losses, and you advance to the semis in the ACC tournament, you're going to host a regional you should be able to win, and you'll be in the super regionals in really the second full year that this team has been fielded. That's light years ahead. I mean, I don't think people understand that Clemson softball is light years ahead of where they need to be. And I think it's only going to get better from here, especially with the facilities and the upgrades that they're looking to do for the facilities. So yeah, Gamecock fans, get used to it. You got women's basketball. We'll take women's soccer and softball and every other sport. So yeah, whatever.
Let's go OT here for the final minute here. Well, I've already gone over the final minute, but anyways, how would you feel? A lot of people are projecting that the Los Angeles Dodgers will win the World Series coming up this season. How would you feel if Freddie Freeman went back-to-back World Series champ, but not as a Brave?
I mean, for Freddie, I would be cool with it. But I hate the Dodgers. I hated the Dodgers before all the Brave stuff. I hate large market teams from LA and New York. I just hate them. And I don't want the Dodgers to be successful. I think now this is kind of what I think the Dodgers have usurped the Yankees as. I think the Dodgers are the new Yankees, where they're just going to go after the biggest names that they can get a hold of, and that may pay off for the next couple of years, but it may also end up eroding that team. Kind of look what happened with Trevor Bauer. They weren't the same when they went after him. They just went after the name. I think the Dodgers will win the division, but I don't think they'll win the pennant. I think that'll be someone from either within the West that could beat them. Could be the Braves again. It could be someone who wins out of the Central. But I don't know. I don't think the Dodgers will win the World Series this year.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of debate for sure about who's going to win and whatnot. But I'm just looking back through some of the hot topics of the week. Also talking about the Braves, Ronald Acuna was quoted by someone saying that he, would not miss Freddie Freeman. And there were a lot of clashes between the two. Freddie has since denied that, says he doesn't agree with that. And also Ronald has come out and said that he didn't say that. But he also mentioned that there were times where he would be in the dugout, where he'd be in the locker room, and he came in, wearing his big glasses, wearing his hat low, wearing his eye black and all this chain and jewelry. And the veterans on the team, like Freddie Freeman, would tell him to take all that junk off. Now, I'll be honest about Ronald Acuna. He's not exempt from being called cocky, because, I mean, how many times did we see, even in the playoffs, where he thought he had a home run and didn't run to first base and then got out, or didn't get as many bases as he could? And I know that kind of stuff just irks veterans. So if it's just a veteran thing, now let's say this happened. They're saying it didn't happen, but it's out there. So I think to me, Ronald just needs to suck it up, and it just sounds like a veteran basically telling a rookie, hey, get it together.
Here's my thing. Ronald Acuna signed 2 years ago for 10 years, $100 million, and he's still on the Braves. Freddie Freeman could have come and signed with the Braves and finished out his career, and he chose not to. So whether or not Ronald Acuna is cocky or not, Freddie Freeman's wearing Dodger blue. Almost thought Ronald Acuna on this one.
You held me there. You held me. I was like, where's he going? Where's he going? Yeah. And then finally, we got to talk about the Masters. Tiger Woods comes out, shoots a 71 in his first round, and is up there. He's not ready to play like an old man. He's still in there. Now, he's not on the leaderboard. I'm trying to look at the.
He's tied for ninth.
Tied for ninth.
Yeah. That's the last thing. That might have changed from the
time. Tied for 10th. Yeah, still changed. But, there's not a lot of people that are very, very high up there. Now, Cameron Smith came out. He's doing well. Dustin Johnson, a guy who a lot of people thought could win it. Scotty Scheffler in there as well. I don't know much about golf. I like to play it. I don't like to watch it because, my father-in-law loves to watch it, though. He can watch it 24/7 every day of the year. But, for me, again, when it comes to golf, I watched ESPN's coverage today, and you could say it's golf, but is it really golf? I mean, basically it's the Tiger Woods show. And, I think that's part of the golf's problem. I think, here's my thought. I think golf needs something like Hard Knocks. They need a behind-the-scenes Netflix special. They need something like Drive to Survive. That's why I got into Formula One. The problem is you're telling me Dustin Johnson's a star. You're telling me that Jordan Spieth's a star, that Justin Thomas is a star. You're telling me all these things. Wait, sorry, it's an ad on ESPN, excuse me. But you're telling me all these things. I know nothing about these guys. I do know everything about Tiger Woods because that's only person that ever gets covered. The only other person that ever gets any coverage is Phil Mickelson, and they didn't allow him to come because of some stuff he said on Twitter. So,
I mean, I don't think it's going to be that dramatic of a show. I think the only drama is between Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. And I think the rest of the time it's just going to be a bunch of old boys sitting in the bar having a little too much food. That's pretty much what the show is going to be.
Patrick Reed's a jerk. Everybody knows it. Nobody wants to be around him.
No,
I guess there's really nothing you can make of that. So my idea has already been debunked. I won't bring it up anymore. All right, Houston, we're at the end. We need to finish up. We need to wrap up. We appreciate everybody getting in and being a part of the show. It's kind of an off the cuff topics and hot news of the week, but we appreciate everybody getting in. I myself got to go to bed because I got to be up. I got to go to Clemson and try to be on the Mickey Plyler show tomorrow and learn the board. So I will see you guys later. Houston, you got anything before we go?
Nope. Braves just started, so I'm going to go watch that as soon as this is done.
All right. On behalf of myself, Big Al, who's not here, and Mr. Houston Burnett, we'll see you at the top of the hill. Tiger fans, Greenville is a wonderful place to call home, and take it from me, a great place to grow your family. The housing market can be an extremely competitive and intimidating place if you don't have the right agent. That's why we recommend our friend and local agent Lana Smith with Live Upstate SC Real Estate. She is a native of Greenville and has been serving the needs of families in the upstate for over 20 years. You need an agent proficient in navigating the world of multiple offers who will put your needs first and guide you through the process. Let Lana help you achieve your real estate goals. Call her today at 864-608-8313. Again, that's 864-608-8313. And let's get moving. If you're looking for a great atmosphere and good food, you have to check out the Charleston Sports Pub. They're the premier sports bar location in South Carolina with locations in Clemson, Greenville, Goose Creek, James Island, Mount Pleasant, Summerville, and West Ashley. Watch all the games while you have fun playing all their games. Tiger fans, we dine there, legends dine there like Taj Boyd, and so should you. Go eat at the Charleston Sports Pub in Clemson every game day. 359 College Avenue, Clemson. Family owned and operated, serving Anderson County and surrounding areas since 1980. Heating and Cooling Services, Inc. is your residential and commercial comfort expert. Anything from preventative maintenance of your home HVAC system to overhauling a commercial chiller and everything in between. If you want to breathe easier and be nice and cool in your home or business this summer or warm this winter, give Heating and Cooling Services, Inc. a call today. Give Mark or Jason Trammell a call at 864-224-7655. Again, 864-224-7655, and they'll take good care of you. Tiger fans, we don't just dress for success, we TS for success. That's Tiger Sports Shop. We shop there so much that they practically begged us to be sponsors for them. Not serious, but we do love shopping at Tiger Sports Shop in one of their two locations, 364 College Avenue and 1102 Tiger Boulevard in Clemson. If you're not in Clemson to check out the experience, stop by online at www.tigersports.com. Again, tigersports.com for all your game day needs.